Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'd like to welcome you to City and State's The New Agenda. I hope everybody's doing well. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Allied Barton, Hudson River Bridge Contractors, News Corporation, and Skanska, NYU for hosting it. Lynn Brown, NYU is very gracious. I would just like to give a second to Caress Kennedy from Allied Barton to make some few opening remarks, and enjoy.
Greetings, everybody. My name is Caress Kennedy, and I'm a Vice President and General Manager for Allied Barton Security Services, New York and New Jersey region. Allied Barton Security Services is America's largest physical security services firm, and we're proud to partner with City and State to present the New Agenda, which is an important forum to help guide New York businesses in identifying greater opportunities for minority and women-owned businesses. The security services industry is just one of many fields where diversity is embraced. Today's security professional is part of a multicultural workforce and represents a variety of ethnic, racial, and religious backgrounds. Despite the workplace diversity in the security sector, some people still believe that the average security employee is male with military or law enforcement experience. While men still represent the majority of employees in the security service sector, more and more women are gravitating to the field and attracted to the wide array of opportunities that are available. Security is one of the fastest growing professional careers worldwide. In my position as a leader at the country's leading physical security services firm, I see more and more women enticed by the industry. Today, my firm employs over 15,000 women nationwide in a variety of positions, everything from security officer to account manager to district manager, vice president, and senior vice president. Just as Allied Barton grabbed the mantle to become the security service leader in training 7 years ago, with many industry awards to our credit, we pledge today to become the market leader in our minority diversity supplier program. In the past 5 years, we've invested millions of dollars in minority supplier partnerships. Working with George Council, our Vice President of Strategic Sourcing for Allied Barton, and George is here today with me, we've identified dozens of minority and women-owned vendors nationwide in the office supply, uniform, catering, consulting, and security subcontracting sectors, and we have become really aligned with them. In New York, we currently work with several minority and women-owned service partners, and we embarked in a process last year to identify and qualify additional vendors we can partner with. We issued an RFI across the city with several dozen companies responding, and many completed our request, and we're narrowing them down right now. And we've identified 5 qualified companies, which include 2 women-owned businesses and 3 minority-owned businesses, and we are seeking to work with these outstanding companies in an active and meaningful way over the coming months. This area is ripe with quality-minded women and minority-owned businesses that make a positive impact on our economy, and as an industry leader, we're proud to work with them. Allied Barton, which today employs over 55,000 Americans nationwide and over 5,500 New Yorkers, is also committed to expanding the definition of minority suppliers to include service-disabled veteran firms. The patriots who have chosen to serve our country and who have made enormous sacrifices to ensure our safety and freedom also need our support. Just as Allied Barton raised the bar in training in the physical security sector, we're industry leaders in our military veterans employment programs. Through our Hire Our Heroes program, we partnered with all of the leading military assistance groups, including the Employer Partnership of the Armed Forces, the Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve, the Wounded Warrior Project. Just as we continually hire veterans, reservists, their families, and caregivers, we also need to work and seek to work with veteran and disabled veteran-owned businesses. Allied Barton is sensitive to customer requirements for diversity among suppliers, and we're proud to be a corporate member of the Diverse Supplier Mentoring Program and the U.S. Small Businesses Administration Mentor Protege Program, which is, it pairs minority businesses with a large corporation after an extensive review. We also understand that smaller firms and minority suppliers on their own may not always have the resources to offer the range of staffing options of a company of our size. In these situations, we offer a simple solution. capitalize on our resources and experience by fulfilling diverse supplier needs through us. How do we accomplish this? First, we carefully screen and pre-qualify subcontractors per client specifications. Then we provide them with in-depth training and support and mentor their operations. The result is a comprehensive, well-managed security program that supports diversity goals. In today's business world, successful initiatives demand a blend of the best men and women representing all ethnic, racial, and religious backgrounds. As the security industry continues to evolve and tap into the greatest talent and resources, we will continue to see more and more women and minorities as senior leaders, middle managers, and new entrants to the field. The security sector offers unparalleled opportunity across multiple disciplines. It is our belief at Allied Barton that diversity in business benefits everyone. Our corporate-wide diversity partnership initiative has two primary goals. First, the Diversity Partnership Initiative helps facilitate our customers' commitment to supplier diversity programs while still maintaining a high level of consistent quality and service. Second, it's our desire to establish a stronger and closer relationship with minority, women-owned, and military veteran enterprises in order to strengthen these organizations so they all can become competitive in the marketplace. Thank you to everyone who's here today, who's made the commitment to supporting diversity in the workplace and throughout New York. Thank you.
Just like to quickly thank our two co-chairs, Sandy Wilkin and the Reverend DeGraff, who were critical in developing this crucial forum. And I want to invite the Reverend up for a couple remarks and introduce the mayor.
Good morning, New York. I know it's early, but you can do better than that. Good morning, New York. I'm not just going to introduce the mayor of the greatest city in the world. I'm going to put it in a context because we have been on a journey for a mighty long time. We have been knocking on the doors of power and opportunity and not getting a response for over 30 years. We've been in Albany. We've been in Washington. We've been in City Hall. But this administration decided to be responsive, and they decided to craft opportunities and be a catalyst for opportunities not only in the public sector, but also in the private sector. You see, the whole notion of a new agenda is really an idea. They say that, Lorraine brother, they say more powerful than all the armies is the power of an idea whose time has come. And so now we're not talking about people's color. We're not talking about whether they're qualified. Today you are making history in New York City. It has never happened before that a community called its leaders to say, what are you going to do about this issue? We're not talking about welfare. We're not talking about traffic, the environment, mass transit. We're talking about business. Somebody said, Susan Whiting, show me the money. That's what this is all about. We don't just want to apply and be certified. We want to be part of the economic lifeblood of the city of New York. Well, we couldn't have gotten here today but for one man whose administration was dealing with something traditional, the collective bargaining agreement. The talks stalled. Some elected officials said maybe another community needs to be at the table. And my favorite deputy mayor in all the world, Mr. Mayor, Cass Holloway, invited us in. And we became part of an agreement that was historic, that created opportunities in the workforce. And Alfred, it used to be that we always wanted just a job. We want a few jobs. And so we would only talk about workforce. But now we want jobs and contracts and seats on the board. We want the whole package. That's the new agenda. And so, at NYU today, that New York is beating a path to our doors because an idea whose time has come. The mayor of the greatest city in the world will speak shortly, but then those who would seek to follow him will come, and they will answer our questions on diversity, what their plans are and what their visions are and how they view it. It's not an option. All of them are going to be here. So this is an empowerment moment, and it couldn't have been possible without this mayor. And we salute his leadership because people forget what it was like when he first took office after 9/11. He brought us back from the brink, stabilized us, and got us going again and balanced the budget. And so he's brought that same leadership and vision to this problem. And so there are many people here from agencies, but I want the people who are here from agencies to know there are many business people here and people who are advocates who are here. And so we ought to be listening to one another, not just the panels, but the person who's sitting next to you is a VIP. So I would like now for you to put your hands together and to say thank you for the man I call Captain Courageous, the mayor of the greatest city in the world, the Honorable Michael Bloomberg.
Thank you. Please. You know, as soon as the Reverend learns how to be expressive and enthusiastic. Good morning, everyone, and I wanted to start out by thanking City and State for hosting such an important forum. I was going to start by reading the City and State birthday announcements, but I know everyone has already seen them on first read. Now, I must tell you, this is a true story. I get up in the morning, my first read is Bloomberg View. 2 reasons. 1, the name on the door. And number 2, it's there a lot earlier than the first read. But my second read is yours. Now, how either of us are going to monetize that, I have absolutely no idea. But for what it's worth, I did that. And, Caress, I just wanted to point out, you talked about diversity in security. The NYPD and the Corrections Department are both majority, minority, and I would think the percentage of women casts about 35%, something like that. So it is not just a white men's security thing. We have been able to, in both those agencies, attract an enormous, broad group of people with lots of different backgrounds and lots of different experiences, and I think that's what's made both agencies as effective as they are. Reverend DeGraff, thank you, all kidding aside, for that introduction. You're too kind. It is the people that we've been lucky enough to have join the administration that have really made the difference. And Kaz and I are 2 out of something like 280,000 people that work for our administration for this government. And we're not perfect, and we haven't gone as far as we would like. We do have countdown clocks at City Hall, and I have one in my bathroom at home. For the record, there is 597 days, I think, left to go. And all our countdown clocks have signs on them, make every day count. And I can just tell you, up until midnight on December 31st, 2013, we will do everything we can to leave this city in as good a shape as we can and to give whoever comes after us the tools to take it to even greater heights. I hope that the mayor that follows me is better than I ever was. I'm going to live in the city. My kids live in the city. And we want to always build and give the tools to the next generation to go and do things that we never really imagined. Expanding economic opportunity is what we're here to talk about. It is central to the mission of 100 Black Men, and Reverend DeGraff has been a great partner with our administration. And together we are working to ensure that when it comes to doing work for the city of New York, whether it's building a school, providing social services, or meeting dozens of other needs that New Yorkers have, the opportunity to get that work is available to the largest, most diverse group of firms possible. I also want to thank today's co-chairs, Sandra Wilkin, President Emeritus of the Women's Builders Council. She is also president of Bradford Construction, a certified woman-owned firm that works on 75 to 100 public schools in an average year for our School Construction Authority. And I think she certainly understands firsthand the challenges of running a company and of working on public projects. Dealing with government is never easy. There are lots of built-in protections, and every time there's a scandal, we add another level of protection, which probably makes it harder to work with government, but that's the real world. I have been asked 1,000 times what's the difference between government and the private sector, and I've pointed out that the private sector really is a dog-eat-dog world, and government is just the opposite. Got to think, and I always listen how long it takes before you get... You guys scored a C, that's okay. New York is bringing renewed energy, I hope anyways, and I think it is, and focus to this area. Our administration believes that economic growth should benefit all communities. That's what our five-borough economic development strategy is all about. If we hadn't started a five-borough economic diversification plan 10 plus years ago, we would have been in very big trouble with this economic downturn. Fortunately, we did. It doesn't prevent us from hurting and suffering, but it makes the pain an awful lot more tolerable, I will say. The foundation of our strategy is investing in the city's future in every neighborhood through good times and bad, and we continue to invest in the things that attract families and businesses to New York: infrastructure, housing, education, and sustainability, and that strategy really has paid big dividends. If you look at the numbers, New York City has gained back more than 190% of private sector jobs lost during the recession, while the nation as a whole has gained back only about 40%. Now, there are still far too many New Yorkers out of work and far too many people who are struggling, so we can't back down from our strategy, and we are not. You should know that there are more people working in New York City today than ever before in history. Having said that, we still have a lot of people coming here who are looking for work, and so it is a never-ending problem for us, but also a never-ending opportunity. We want people, particularly immigrants from around the world, to come to New York. This is the city of opportunity, and it's what makes all of us benefit when people come here and start businesses and come with new ideas and that sort of thing. Last month, we put forward a budget that includes nearly $40 billion in capital investments over the next 5 years. That includes more than $15 billion in infrastructure investments and nearly $11 billion in investments in education. And we're determined to ensure that every community in New York has the opportunity to take part in that work, as well as the opportunities to do business with our city. The more people that apply to do business, the more options the city's going to have, the better quality work we're going to get for a lower price. That's what we owe to the taxpayers, and we want to make sure that everybody can participate. That's what we owe to the workers in this city. It's our city, and we all want equal opportunity, but nobody should think that you're not going to have to work hard. This is not an easy city. People don't come here to put their feet up on the chair and just to have the government support them. People come here for opportunity, and the difference between those that succeed and those that don't is to some extent luck. But, you know, there's the old saying, the harder you work, the luckier you seem to be, and I think we all understand that. We are determined to make sure that every community has the opportunity. And our commitment is anew. Over the past 6 years, we've made significant strides, I think, in removing barriers to city contracting opportunities for minority and women-owned firms. Since December of '05, when we passed Local Law 129, expanding contracting opportunities for businesses owned by minorities and women, the number of MWBE firms that are certified to do business with the city has grown from 700 to more than 3,400 today. 700 to 3,400, it's a big jump, and those firms have received more than $2.7 billion in city contracts. In 2011 alone, nearly $563 million in city contracts were awarded to firms owned by minorities or women, and that includes firms like Recon Construction Company, which is owned by Gloria Kemper. Recon has worked with the city's Department of Environmental Protection, Sanitations, and Parks on a number of subcontracts valued at over $30 million. Some firms have won small contracts, like American Fire Control, a fire extinguisher maintenance company that won a $25,000 contract with the NYPD 1 week after attending the 3rd annual citywide procurement fair, and hopefully that leads to a lot more business for that company and for similar companies. And some firms have won very large companies. Padilla Construction, which recently won a $13 million contract with the Parks Department. Padilla has completed a number of projects for the city at various agencies, and they've also hired MWBE subcontractors on many of them. And I can just tell you, if they didn't do great work, they wouldn't get any more business. And that's exactly the way it should be. And I just hope that you find all of these companies doing lots of business with the city. It will be great for the city if that's the case. This is real progress that benefits our entire city, because as more businesses are able to open, operate, and expand, the stronger New York City's economy becomes and the better prices taxpayers get for public works and services. And that's why we are so determined to continue to support our city's MWBE firms. That includes taking a fresh look at Local Law 129 and the ways that it can be strengthened. But support is more than making opportunities available and setting goals. Small businesses really are the backbone of our city's economy, and we want them to succeed. And that means addressing some of the chronic problems that cause small businesses, including minority and women-owned businesses, to fail. I do remember the days when my company was one person, and then 3 days later it was like 4 people. Today it's, I'm told, 16,000. I keep meeting people, and they say, "Oh, we miss you." And I say, "Great, how long have you been in the company?" 2 years. Great, that's really nice. But, there's the old joke that you can always tell who owns the company by who's sweeping up at the end of the day after everybody's gone home. And the challenge and the thrill and the worry, but also the excitement of creating something is something that I will never forget. Now, I don't know that I'm going to be young enough to go do it again when I finish this job, but I will say that my hat's off to people that have a vision and are willing to take a risk. And it doesn't always work out. But somebody once said that the difference, you can tell a great salesman by when they knock on the door and the door is slammed in their face, and they go to the next door and they knock on the door knowing they're going to make the sale at the next house. A great salesman knocks on the same door. And that's, you have to go, you have to believe that you can do it. And it doesn't always work out, but people that I know have tried it a number of times before they finally got it right, and then they've been phenomenally successful. Small businesses need some help to get going often, cash to get jobs started, and many, as we all know, have trouble getting the bonding they need to win a bid. Other firms never apply for city work in the first place because they are concerned about the requirements or what they think the requirements are. And so we've launched a bold new set of initiatives to help address these challenges. It is called Compete to Win, and it's one of the many centerpieces of our administration's effort to continue moving our city's economy forward. It was developed with the input of leaders from the MWBE community, leaders like Sandra Wilkin and Timothy Marshall of the Jamaica Business Resource Center and Rick Miranda of the Brooklyn Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Compete to Win includes 5 initiatives, and I just wanted to briefly touch on each so you have some feel of what we actually are doing. First, through a partnership with the New York Business Development Corporation and Bach Capital, we're offering construction loans of up to $150,000 to help firms get started. No taxpayer dollars will be used in these loans, but there will be a big upside for the public by helping companies grow and employing more New Yorkers, all of whom will pay taxes, which will give us the monies to provide security and education and all the things that people want from government. Second, we recognize that many MWBE firms often pay a higher cost for bonds, which affects their ability to remain competitive and take advantage of contracting opportunities. So we've launched what we call a bonding readiness program, which will be a renewed effort to help MWBE firms obtain the insurance needed to bid on large city construction projects. Third, we are providing technical assistance to help MWBE firms and small businesses develop competitive bids and proposals. Fourth, we are expanding the construction mentoring program that has already been successful at the School Construction Authority on many projects and at the City Department of Housing Preservation and Development, Parks and Environmental Protection. It will give MWBE vendors or vendors who partner with MWBE firms exclusive access to contracting opportunities as well as access to building management courses and hands-on training. And to support and grow this mentoring effort, we're forming a construction mentoring panel that Jacques and Sandra, among others, will be involved with, and that's to ensure that contractors who enter the program not only succeed but continue to grow and get public and private work. And finally, we are creating a program with American Express, one of the great companies in New York. This is a company that always has looked out not just for their own bottom line, which is what they're supposed to do, but also for the city, state, and countries that give them the opportunity to compete and to have a business, and that's what you want corporations to do. And the guy that runs American Express certainly understands that all of our companies have responsibilities to help others, and Ken Chenault is one of my role models, if there ever was one. This is a great company and a great guy. But American Express has something called American Express Open called NYC Training, or NYC Teaming, and that will help MWBE firms both build partnerships and submit joint bids and partner with larger, more experienced firms. And we think the best way to get experience is to get to work, and teaming up is a great way to do that. We're also working with partners like Goldman Sachs and Bank of New York Mellon to better equip MWBE firms to develop the relationships and skills that will allow them to win private sector contracts. So there's a number of companies here that really are making a difference. They've been successful, and they're going to help other people be successful. In support of Compete to Win, we're also hosting job and informational fairs, excuse me, in all 5 boroughs, so that entrepreneurs and other business leaders won't get the same cold that I have, but also know about upcoming opportunities. Compete to Win is a multi-agency effort being led by Deputy Mayors Kaz Holloway and Bob Steele, and Commissioners of Small Business Services Rob Walsh, and Senior Policy Advisor Greg Mayers on Deputy Mayor Holloway's team is the New York City's chief liaison with stakeholders who represent MWBE firms and programs. Now, all of this work is in line with our administration's commitment to help every New Yorker, every New York business overcome the obstacles that they face, whether they're starting up or trying to expand. That's why we created a joint certification form with the state, because if a business is certified with us, we think it should also be certified with the state as well. That's going to give New York workers and New York companies an opportunity to do business around the state and bring some of their profits back to the city, which is what we like. The progress we've made in New York is the product of a strong partnership with elected civic and corporate leaders. We're going to continue working together to ensure that business opportunities are available to everyone. New York, as everybody knows, is a real competitive city. You have to work hard to succeed here. But if you are willing to work hard, we are prepared to help you. And together, we really are going to make this city better. I'm very proud of the progress we've made. Nobody should think that it is adequate. Nobody should think that we should rest on our laurels. And nobody should think that we'll have all of it done before we leave office. But hopefully, we will set an example for those who come after us to not just talk about doing things, so thank you, not just talk about making the world better, but actually doing something. And I hope we'll look back and say that we were part of it. Thank you for having me. God bless, and have a nice day.